Is joining us now with more. As with any statement from North Korea, Matt, you got to take it with somewhat of a grain of salt. But it is significant now that they are acknowledging, yes, Travis King is in their country.
Hi, folks, and welcome back to the Storm and Cellar. Apparently, the North Koreans don't even want this whiny little private. Yesterday, according to their state news agency, KCNA, they decided to expel Private King from North Korea after illegally crossing the border. Of course, that's never stopped the North Koreans before in imprisoning someone before long periods of time. Actually, what expel really means here is that King wasn't worth the effort to keep him in North Korea and to have to deal with him. The only real thing North Koreans got out of Private King was a bit of propaganda. They stated that King had hard feelings over inhumane and racial discrimination within the Army. As inhumane, I imagine he was talking about the terrible austere barracks life that a video I just released. Okay then. So why would he think that? Just because he was an out-of-control young man who had no problem breaking the law or rules? He'd already served nearly 2 months in South Korean prison for 2 allegations of assault in South Korea and had pleaded guilty to 1 instance of assault and destroying public property for damaging a police car while cursing Koreans. So on July 18th, while King was on his way back to the U.S. to face possible additional military disciplinary actions and probably discharge from the service, he then leaves the Incheon airport, decides to take a leisurely jaunt up to the DMZ at Panmunjom, and then he ran into enemy territory and into the waiting arms of the North Koreans to cry how mistreated he was. Apparently, he's back in the U.S. custody now, where he would have previously faced just a fine and possibly a general discharge. He'll now be looking at prison time for not only being AWOL or absent without leave, but also collaboration with the enemy. We're looking at a lot of prison time now. Remember, folks, the 3-year war between the North and South Korea is still ongoing. There's only a ceasefire or armistice until a final peace settlement can be achieved, and that hasn't happened yet. So what can we learn from Private King's exploits here? 1, kids today are not taught responsibility and the consequences for bad decisions they make. Case in point, the hundreds of black young men who robbed numerous stores in Philadelphia yesterday.
To Philadelphia now, and a Philadelphia convenience store that was robbed and ransacked by a teenage mob over the weekend. This video, which appears to be recorded by an employee, is going viral on social media. Police say about 100 juveniles stole items and caused thousands of dollars worth of damage to a Wawa store in Northeast.
Also, the months of rioting, looting, and burning that young black men did during the George Floyd death.
Looters stormed into Lower Manhattan last night. They destroyed store windows in Soho and lit fires during another night of violent protests.
Hardly any arrest was made, and those who did came in the front door, and the DA sent them out the back door. Mayors and the so-called news media were making excuses for their bad behavior, as the idiot Seattle mayor called it the summer of love. Second, when military personnel such as Private King and Bo Bergdahl defect to the enemy, the only useful purpose they will ever be is to obtain information, if they have any at all, and propaganda. It'll be interesting to see what transpires with Private King. My guess is he will be debriefed, a slap on the wrist, and discharged from the Army. What are y'all's thoughts? What actions do you think should happen to him, and why do you think he went into North Korea in the first place? Perhaps just a few screws loose, right? Hey, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and share it with your friends.